Sanjiv Bhasin is also joining us now back on the show. Sanjiv, good morning. The setup of the market this week, lots of queues lined up. But yesterday, on Friday, the Bank Nifty was a bit of a spoiler. How do you see things pan out this week?
Yeah, good morning, Ajay. First, heartbroken. All the spirit, all the blue shirts went
Heartbroken
down.
indeed.
So heartbroken. Yes, Bank Nifty was a precursor to what is going to happen on Sunday. But I think it's a buying opportunity. Too much is made in one day on a small, on not a small, but a rather cautionary note, which is very good for the banking sector. I was overhearing what the State Bank chairman said. He said, for us, just the quarterly profit of last the half yearly profit makes up the buffer of that. I mean, 110 basis points is what they actually have added back to their kitty in the half yearly profit. So too much of pessimism. It will see caution and profit booking, but I think that was overdone on Friday. You can't have banks do badly when yields have started to correct. And mind me, I used to tell you 4.6, 4.8, the day we break 4.4, all hell will break loose on the US bond market. And that is what is evident. Fall in yields, stronger rupee, inflation on the lower side, and credit expanding. The big banks are going to take the cake. So I think this is a time, if you have been waiting to buy the good Axis and the SBIs of the world. SBI has done nothing as far as the PSU banks go. It is the most well-capitalized bank. And I think sovereign rating gives it easier case to raise more AT1 bond. So selectively try and buy your portfolio because Friday's fall may have been inadvertently more overdone.
All right, fair enough. Sanjiv, hi, morning. Let's also get in your take then as to what's happening within the pharma space then, and in particular, what's the view on Cipla?
So good morning, Avan. Pharma has seen very, very strong comeback and it has belied all expectation with results actually beating expectation. Cipla constantly has some news flow which is, taken the stock from that 950 to 1250. Now there is some issues on the FDA inspection, but I think all declines will be buying opportunity. We are aware that there is almost a stake change which is very much on the cards, and that would mean that the valuation of Cipla will be on the higher side. However, our 2-3 picks which we have on a coverage and which we have a position are, and as a disclosure, are in our portfolio is Dr. Reddy, Lupin, and Sun Pharma. We continue to stick with that. And like I advised earlier to a lot of investors, stick with the SBI Pharma Fund or the Nippon Pharma Fund. Once you buy a mutual fund which has a basket of stocks, then you tend to outperform irrespective of one or two stocks having negative or positive news flow.
Other stocks as well that will be on our radar in today's trading session, and you clearly are going to have the likes of a Paytm that is also on the brokerage radar. So you've got brokerages like BofA that have maintained a buy rating, talking about the risk to loan growth having now slowed down the line, and they say that there's no impact when it comes to the merchant or the BNPL segment. In fact, a favorable risk reward. Curious to get in your take then, Sanjiv, Paytm, because you have been an advocate of this. There are also reports indicating that there's a complete turnaround as well when it comes to a Zomato, that earlier on all of the fears now seem to be dissipating because now they're focusing on growing their top line, their profits as well.
Yes, Aman, I'll come to that. Just a little bit of a reminder to Ajay when I told him that come the World Cup and you'll see Apollo Hospital do extremely well. The stock was languishing at 4,900 after results, and lo and behold, it has hit a new high. And I told him that average room rate in Apollo Hospital, forget about Indian hotel, is more than 58,000. In 1 year, they've jumped 18%. And Ajay, it hit a new high on Friday. Paytm is a no-brainer along with PB Fintech. If you are going to keep hesitating, then you're missing the chances of getting onto one of the largest fintechs, which can be a huge outperformer. Don't measure it on a quarterly basis because there are a lot of private equity and other holders who will be lured to sell it on rallies. But I think PB Fintech and Paytm can double from here in the next 2 years. Fingers crossed. We have a substantial position in all these three stocks in our portfolio, and we are not looking at the next 2-3 quarters. We are looking at the next 3-5 years, where fintech is going to rule the roost, and the business model is now playing out on the positive.
Important stock to watch out for would be L&T. There's an important brokerage note which has come up which talks about how Saudi Arabia or Middle East is transforming and the Capex beyond oil is a focus area. So L&T would be a big beneficiary of that. If you remember, we had done an interaction with Mr. Naik just a while back. He also spoke about the point that non-oil Capex in Middle East is on a rise. In fact, not only that, companies like KEC International, Skipper, all of them are talking about big Capex happening in Middle East beyond oil, and Indian companies are beneficiaries. So L&T of course is also a very big beneficiary of that. Pull up the chart for L&T. It did spend some time around the 3000 mark. Sanjeev, view on L&T and the way how Middle East could start contributing again big time. It's already about 30% of the overall revenues.
Correct. And like what Nikunj said, if you own the L&T and Indian Hotel, then for maybe 1 year they did nothing, but suddenly they are up almost 50 or 50% or 100%. And L&T still looks the best play on engineering, hydrocarbon and the electrical space. Along with that, you have ABB Thermax, or even a company like Voltas, which has a huge presence in the Middle East because of cooling towers. But I would stick with L&T, ABB and Siemens and Cummins. I think these three are the best Capex stocks. The managements have indicated that they are on the roll. They don't need capital as such, and I think that these are the bellwethers you should own to ride this market. You also are aware, Ajay, that there is a buyback which is on the card of 3,500, where the management is actually exuding confidence. However, like we said, take it with a pinch of salt. These stocks are hitting all-time highs. They are not cheap, so the chances of them being in this consolidation are more rather than immediately giving you returns.
Sanjeev, any interesting IPO which is there on your radar which you think could be a nice study ship?
Nikunj, since our merchant bankers are involved, I would be difficult for me under compliance to name any new IPO. But there is a whole host of fresh entrants for SIPs if you wanted to. But like I said, under compliance, I will not be able to disclose that on any stock, any particular new IPO.
All right, good to have you on board. Thanks so much, Sanjeev, for joining in.